Hello, I'm Ken. Hi, I'm Ken. Thank you for joining me. It's Thursday night here in New York City. And tonight I'm going to be discussing travel secrets in Istanbul that I want to share with you. But before I get started, a little bit about me. I have been a travel agent for 48 years. I have worked in the Republic of South Africa for half of that period, specializing in travel away from South Africa to the rest of the world for both leisure and corporate travelers. Then I came to the United States and I did everything in reverse. I started to promote South Africa, which is my home country, and African safaris in East Africa. Having said all of that, along came COVID, and blah, blah, the rest of what happened. Travel stopped and this, that, the next thing. And I suddenly, with a lot of research, discovered that I had an enormous passion for the Middle East area, the Middle Eastern region. When I say that, I mean Egypt, Jordan, Turkey, North Africa, Morocco. Those 4 destinations, I believe, are going to be top sellers in 2026. And that's why I wanted to discuss with you the secrets of Istanbul. Because last year I was fortunate enough to spend a whopping 9 months in Istanbul. And I really spent a lot of time visiting, seeing, learning, using public transportation, etc., etc., etc. So I want to share that information with you. I'm very happy to share that information with you. We're going to start that in a moment. I'm just trying to get this sorted out on my screen. Please bear with me for a moment. I've gone live in Istanbul very frequently, and a lot of people followed me on those journeys when we would go touring around the city and so on, which was an enormous amount of fun, I will say. But tonight I'm going to be doing something completely different, and that is just giving you information. And when I'm done, you're welcome to ask questions, as many questions as you want. They'll pop up on my screen in front of me, and I'll be very happy to answer them for you as best I can. So let's wait for a couple of people to pop in, because I know the invitations have all gone out now. And as soon as people do, is when I will start my presentation for you. So relax, take a deep breath, and we'll get started in just a moment. Sarah's joined us. Thank you so much, Sarah. Glad to see you. We're just waiting for a couple more people to come in, and as soon as they do, we'll get going. Just so you know, Sarah, I'm going to be talking about secrets in Istanbul, travel secrets in Istanbul, after having spent 9 months there last year, which was really, really brilliant. But before I get going, let's get started with the following. And this is what I wanted to tell you. I'm unscripted. I am completely unfiltered. I say what comes in, just goes right out. And I am a very, very borderline case, a very controversial man. I have a lot of opinions about things, and I don't hesitate saying them. And I'll take the slap back if I've said anything out of place. I don't mind. I think debate is very good and very healthy, particularly in our business, in the travel industry. Welcome to the new folks that have joined us. There's somebody, I really don't mean to be rude, but I actually don't know how to even begin. It's all Asian things, letters, I think, without my glasses. So whoever you are, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And Doris, you too. Thank you for popping in. Nada's just popped in. Hi, welcome. It's great to have you with us. And people are coming along. So I'm not going to keep on repeating the same thing. It's just I'm telling you, my name is Ken. I am the director of Turkey Tourism USA based here in New York City. It's Thursday night. I've been a travel agent for 48 years. Sunny, welcome as well. And I'm going to tell you the secrets that I learned about travel in Istanbul. But before I get started with that, I keep on saying that, don't I? Before I get started with that, I want to prove a point to anybody who is listening, anybody who will ultimately listen to this recording. And when we make little snippets of it to go live or to go out on TikTok, there is such importance to the fact that when you're traveling to a destination that you're not familiar with, that you employ the services of an expert travel agent. You really just should. And people immediately say, yeah, but travel agents are a lot more expensive. No, they're not. We're a lot more connected than you can even begin to believe. And to prove the points that that I'm making here, I see that a lot of people have got opinions and say everybody can hop on TikTok and say quack, 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 and everybody has something to say. A young man posted a TikTok video, and I just want to shoot it down because it really, and I shot it down on his TikTok only because this is a youngster traveling around the world, nothing wrong with that, got a camera or a phone and is sharing his travel ideas with everybody. He says, if you're traveling to Egypt, I know I'm talking Turkey, but he says, if you're going to Egypt, you need to have the following vaccinations. Hepatitis A, to prevent against anything to do with water and food contamination. And I look at that and I think, why would you take hepatitis A for water consumption? Are you not going to drink bottled water? You do here in the United States. Why would you go to Egypt and, I don't know, drink out of a tap or out of the Nile or something stupid? So I don't understand why he says that you need to have a hepatitis A shot. Second thing, he says, he refers to street food. He says, if you're a fan of street food, you need a typhoid shot. Okay, there's some sense to that. I get it. But generally, you wouldn't eat street food in Egypt, trust me. Here's one that really just, the hair on the back of my neck just shot up like this. He says you need a rabies shot to prevent against being attacked by wild animals in Egypt. Okay, I was born and raised in Africa. I have been to Egypt in excess of 20 times. There are no wild animals in Egypt. Yeah? They're cats and they're dogs. No wild animals. They're all in East Africa and Southern Africa. And if you think you need to take a rabies shot to protect you against a wild animal, baby, listen carefully. You're going to need a whole hell of a lot more than a rabies shot if you are attacked by a wild animal. I would suggest a black body bag in your hand luggage. That would do you far better. Yellow fever, I can get away with it. When yellow fever, yes, I will always recommend that. But then here's the cherry right on the top that just tipped me right off the scale today. All of this information, he says, comes from the CDC's website, which is monitored by the Department of Health and Human Services. And the Secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services is none other than Robert F. Kennedy Jr., RFK Jr. And this is where we're getting our information about travel. Come on, get a life, really. Seriously, get a life. I have some news other to share with you. If you're traveling, and you may not be traveling to Istanbul, But this came across my desk today, and I thought I would share it with you, and we'll share it with our audience in the next couple of days too. It's with the company TAP, T-A-P, which is Air Portugal. They wrote to us, the travel trade, and said, as summer comes to a close, now is the perfect time to secure exceptional savings for your journeys to Europe. TAP Air Portugal is offering special round-trip fares from North America to Portugal with convenient connections to dozens of destinations across Europe and North Africa. With TAP, travelers can also include a Portugal stopover in Lisbon or Porto for up to 10 days at no additional fare. Here are some of the promotional fares. Listen to this. They really are good. Boston, Madrid, $399 round trip. New York, Lisbon, $429 round trip. San Francisco to Paris, $499 round trip. Chicago to Milan, $399 round trip. Los Angeles to Lisbon, $549 round trip. Miami to Rome, $439 round trip. And Chicago to Washington, D.C. to London, $439 round trip. Now, the only restrictions that you need to know is you have to book by September the 17th, for travel between October 1, 2025 and March 30, 2026. This is only valid on TAP-operated flights. TAP operates non-stop from 8 US gateways to Portugal with service beyond to over 60 destinations in Europe and in Africa. So if you're planning or you were thinking of traveling to Europe in the upcoming period between October and March of next year, you should go to the Air Portugal online website. Don't come to me, I don't do this. I'm just giving you the information to use because it really is extremely good. See, when it comes to these low season periods and the airlines don't see a huge influx of incoming reservations, they start putting out incredible specials like this, and you can rely on me to tell you about them because it's good value. It really is good value. So think just in terms of, I don't know, let's say San Francisco to Paris for $499 round trip. You can fly San Francisco to Lisbon, and you can spend up to 10 days in in Lisbon or in Porto before flying on to Paris, and then back the same way to the United States. $499. Of course, there are going to be taxes, there are going to be baggage fees and all of that nonsense. But still, at the end of the day, I think it's a really, really good deal. And talking about good deals, here's another one. There's an airline company called Level, L-E-V-E-L. They're based out of Orly Airport in Paris. I have flown Level Airlines. It's a budget carrier, but the comfort in flight, the service, the everything about Level just was perfect in today's modern jet age. At least there weren't people bashing each other through the faces. At least there weren't security guards hauling people off the aircraft for causing whatever drama that you would see on, I don't know, Spirit Airlines, American Airlines, Delta, whatever. It was sophisticated. They are now offering a one-way fare of $125 from the United States to Barcelona in Spain. That is incredible. Double it up, 125, it's 250. Yes, of course, there are going to be restrictions. You're going to have to book by a certain time. You're going to have to pay immediately. If you change, you're evil. You have to go back to one and start all over again, and so on. But 125 one way plus the little baggage handling charges and so on, you could do a great vacation for yourself in Barcelona. They also, you can get to Amsterdam on Level. You can get to Madrid, Athens, and as I said, Paris, Orly Airport, which is their home base. I've traveled them, and I do endorse them to you with a lot of confidence. So let's talk about the party you came to tonight. Istanbul travel secrets. I don't have words to describe Istanbul. I'll tell you this. The first time I went to Istanbul was in 1983. And I went in on a cruise. So I spent 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 in the afternoon before I had to be back on the vessel to get out of port to go onward in the Mediterranean. I was terrified. I truly was. It was dark and dingy and frightening. And if you'll recall that godforsaken movie, Midnight Express, about that American boy that was caught at customs trying to smuggle drugs out of Istanbul, and then was locked up in prison and all kinds of things, blah, 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 blah. But it was frightening. I make this point because in that time that I had there, the only things I saw was the Hagia Sophia, which was stunning and remains stunning still to today. The Topkapi Palace, which is Topkapi Palace, and was nice, and I saw the dagger, and it was all exciting. The Blue Mosque, and I walked across the Galata Bridge, and that was it. Obviously, that's all you can do when you're on a day tour, which is why I would never suggest you do that. Now we're in this century, and it's the century of influencers and everybody with an opinion and this and that and the next thing. And the thought is that you can go to Istanbul and do Istanbul in 48 hours. Grow up. You can't. If you want to see Istanbul, if you want to smell it, if you want to taste it, if you want to feel its warmth, its arms around you and holding you tight, 48 hours, don't waste your time. It truly is a waste of time. You'll see the sights. You'll see Hagia Sophia, Blue Mosque, perhaps the Basilica System, into Topkapi Palace, cross the Galata Bridge, lunch, dinner, breakfast, and gone. And that's it. And so you can then just smile and do your little Instagram photographs and stuff like that. If that's what you want, do it. I would never suggest that. I would say you need minimum of 5 nights in Istanbul, but I always shoot to say to people, go for at least 7 days and 6 nights. And here's why. Think in terms of, as a travel agent would think, we don't really talk about days, how many days you're going to be in a city. We talk about how many nights you're going to spend in a city. So I can say, I will create a package for you for 7 days and 6 nights. Let's talk about day 1. Day 1 is the day that you arrive. You're going to do nothing that day. You're absolutely going to do nothing that day. You won't even know where on God's green earth you actually are. Because, take a step back to day 0 then, get up at your home, leave to the airport to catch your flight to Istanbul, to be at the airport 3 hours prior to departure. Then it's through baggage, TSA, sitting waiting at the gate for your flight, departure, off you go for 9 hours and 40 minutes on a non-stop Turkish Airlines flight. And that may not even be your carrier of choice. If you have mileage, you may be going through London on British Airways or Amsterdam on KLM Royal Dutch Airlines or whatever the case may be. But you arrive into Istanbul on whatever carrier. Now the fun begins. Number 1, I was determined when I was in Istanbul, I was going to lose some weight and I was going to do a lot of walking. So I got one of those watches that tell you how many steps you take. From getting off the aircraft until I walked out of the airport building was 6,900 steps. That airport is huge. It's way too big in my opinion. The old Ataturk airport was perfect. This one is just too big. Be that as it may, it's not my It's nothing to do with me, and I reserve my opinion on that. Well, I didn't really. I just told you it was huge. But saying that, you're going to get, what you're going to do first is you're going to go and pass through immigration. Now, I'm primarily talking to a North American audience because this is where we're located, and this is where we will help you with your travel reservations if you need help. If that is the case, US passport holders do not require a visa to enter into the Republic of Turkey. You do not, for a stay of 90 days. If you're going to exceed that, you have to get a residence permit, which is chaos. I tried. Trust me, it's chaos. Canadian passport holders do not require a visa to enter into the Republic of Turkey. You just go straight through immigration. The Mexicans, on the other hand, do require a visa, and AI says that you should go online and get an electronic visa from the online portal of Turkish visas. I say don't do that, because as you're approaching the immigration, you can see where all of the immigration officers are, you will see visas. You just walk up, pay your $25 or $50, whatever the cost is, in dollars or US dollars or in euros. Those are the two currencies that will be accepted. You can't use credit cards. You cannot use Turkish lira. It's only those two currencies, but they give you the visa immediately. So I wouldn't panic getting it before I go. What I would do is suggest that you check your passport. And now this is for across the board to any destination anywhere in the world. Make 100% sure that your passport is valid for at least 6 months after your intended return to your home country. So if you're going to travel in January, for example, and you're going to stay in any country from January and February, and you're coming back in March, your passport must be valid for March, April, May, June, July, August. If it's not, sort it out before you go, because you can and probably will be denied entry. Customs officials are to look out for that in case of any deportation or any nonsense like that. They don't want to have any people floating around with invalid documents. Also, make sure that you have at least 2 pages in your passport for a visa stamp. And again, this doesn't affect American or US and Canadian travelers because we don't need visas to go. I learned that the hard way. I lined up like a good kid at the visa counter, and the guy kept on pointing, sign, look, America, no visa. Okay, sorry, got it. Once you've gone through immigration, what comes next? You got to pick up your baggage. What comes next? You've got to go through customs and immigration. Or, not immigration, customs. Anything to declare or not. So by the time you've actually gone through this whole process of leaving your front door until you walk out of the airport in Istanbul, you have been on the go non-stop for about 15 and a half hours. And if you're like me, you'll be in one hell of a bad mood. You won't be happy, you'll stink, you'll be upset, you'll be miserable, and all of a sudden, everybody is a taxi driver. Anybody who's got 2 wheels underneath him is a taxi driver, and everybody's offering you services. I see these forums online of how do I get from the airport to my hotel in Taksim, the cheapest way. Well, the cheapest way is this. Take the metro. You'll have to make several intermediary stops between the airport and Taksim. And if you want to really save money, then figure it out. When you get to Taksim, dragging your luggage, you're exhausted, you stink, you don't understand all of these weird names of places that you see until you get a little used to them. You don't know which exit to leave from, etc., etc., etc. And now, boom, there you are on Taksim Square. And the word Taksim means distribution. It used to be where all the water supply came into Istanbul way back, and from there it was all distributed to the lower lying parts of the city of Istanbul. So that would indicate that the the roads from Taksim go in all directions. How do you know where your airport, where your hotel is? You've got your suitcase. I have never seen so many unhappy people dragging their suitcases on wheels to get to their hotel, and they're not sure in which direction to go, and they got their little GPS going, blah, 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 and it just becomes chaos. So I honestly would not recommend the metro. I wouldn't do it. Push comes to shove, if you really want to save money, take the bus. There is a bus service that'll take you to Taksim. Still, though, you have to find your way from that bus station, which is underground, out onto Taksim Square, and where do you go from there? Getting to Sultan Ahmet, which is on the other side of the Golden Horn, is an even bigger deal of transfers. So my recommendation, people, honestly, for God's sake, don't be cheap. All right? I don't want to waste money. I will always save money where I can. And if I work with clients, with passengers, I will always do my best to save money for people. But I will tell you that if you don't invest $45 for how many people in your party, let's assume there's 2 of you, so it's what, $20 a pop, to have somebody waiting right at gate number 14 at Istanbul Airport with your name on a board, takes you to an air-conditioned vehicle, pops your luggage into the vehicle, and takes you from that point to the front door of your hotel, you're doing yourself a disservice, an enormous disservice. That's all I can say. You are doing yourself a disservice. When I went to Istanbul last year, I flew in from London on Turkish Airlines, but I never realized that the 1st of May was Labor Day. Dear God in heaven, you have no idea what a traffic snarl up there was. It was a public holiday. It was a big fiesta. Everybody was out in the streets. And going through all of that nonsense, I was only too thankful by the time I hopped into the shower at where I was staying in my apartment that I had taken the transfer. And I suggest you do the same. Now, moving on with that, I have to say the following. That's what I would recommend you do to get from the airport to the hotel. Let's talk about things to do in Istanbul and why I recommend you go for a certain time. But before we do that, let's talk about where you should stay in the city of Istanbul. 2 primary areas are in the Taksim area, which is on the north side of the Golden Horn, or Sultan Ahmet, which is the old city, which is very, very beautiful. Lots of things there to see and lots of things to do. I prefer Taksim. I'll explain why in a moment. But I am going to say this is something else that I found so, oh my God, I found it so rude, and I don't even know how people can be so blunt. You're going to a Muslim country. Islam requires compulsory prayers 5 times daily. This is the creed of the religion. And so, because the time fluctuates by seconds or minute at a time, you will always hear the call to prayer 5 times a day. Writes one person, put me in a hotel in Sultan Ahmet, but I don't want to be near a mosque. Because I don't want to hear this wailing, howling call to prayer at 4 o'clock in the morning. To which I only said, sir, I think you should go elsewhere. Because if you already disrespect the religion of these people, and if you already disrespect the call to prayer, don't go there. Why would you even do that? Why would you persecute yourself only so you can bitch about being woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you can come back and write a stinking article on TripAdvisor of just how crap Istanbul really is? And it's not. It's just because your expectations have not been set appropriately. You're going to a Muslim country, they are going to do call to prayer 5 times a day. Deal with it or don't go. That's your option. So, lay of the land. The old city of Sultanahmet is where you're going to find the Hagia Sophia, Topkapi Palace, Sultanahmet Square, Blue Mosque, Basilica Cistern, Grand Bazaar. Little further down in the area called Eminönü, you are going to find the Egyptian spice market. So these big 7 attractions are all located there, which means what? It means that all of the tours are going to start there in the morning. And it's going to be chaos. Just tour bus after tour bus after tour bus arriving, and there's you trying to get to see these sites with all of these other people following little umbrellas and flags and all kinds of nonsense with earphones on. And when all that is over at the end of the day, you are going to find that that area empties out because everybody goes either back to their ship or to their Airbnb or to their hotel elsewhere. Which is why I never recommend that you stay in the Sultanahmet area. Beautiful hotels, no doubt of it. But at night, it's not, by the way, this is not to put the fear of God in you, because you're safe wherever you are in Istanbul, and we'll talk about safety in a moment, but typically you're very safe, but it's sort of lonely. Now, on the other side of the Golden Horn, you can pop right out of your hotel and boom, you're in Taksim Square, you're on Istiklal Avenue, and that place rocks until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. I don't know where Istanbulites get the energy from, but they just go on and on and on and on and on. The secrets of living in Istanbul for the length of time that I stayed there was, if you go out for dinner, it's not a get in, oh, hi, I'm Chuck and I'm going to be your server tonight. Can I get you started with water or something to drink? No, Chuck, go away from me, please. I want to chat with my friends and my party. There, they don't do that. They'll give you the menu. And then you almost have to say, excuse me, I'm ready to order, because they don't come plague you. And then you can sit at that spot for the whole damn night. And nobody's going to say, can I get you anything more? Can I get you anything else? Can I get you need something more? What else do you need? Blah, 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 blah. Can I get the No, nothing. The lifestyle is so laid back. It's so relaxed. It's living. It's not like here in New York City where we have to rush from one thing to the next, 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 only to survive. Istanbul has a special magic about communication. People visit over meals. People enjoy one another's company over meals, or a coffee, or a tea, or whatever. You don't have to go out for a full meal. You can occupy a table for a whole day for a tea and company and talking to people. And I think that's what makes the city so unbelievably magnificent. On this side, which is the more contemporary side, the Taksim side, you have, of course, you've got Istiklal Avenue, you've got Taksim Square with the Republic Monument. Did you know, by the way, that this is a weird thing to think about? Turkey only became a republic as it is today in 1923. We all think that Turkey's been around forever. Well, and it has, but Constantinople, Ottoman Empire, and history, Byzantine Empire, and so on, it goes back. So you're going to a place that is so ancient, yet so modern, and so enticing. It just grips you. It really grips you, and certainly a place to go to, without question. I'm suddenly watching someone else, and I have no idea who they may be, but it's I'm sure I'll be back in just a second. I'll continue. The one thing that you will see on the side that I'm talking about is the Galata Tower, which in itself it's beautiful to see. Somebody passed a strange remark, and I thought, I didn't know if this was a joke or if it was somebody being really critical. She pointed out, don't go up the Galata Tower, because if you go up, you're not going to get it in your photographs. Whereas if you're anywhere else, you'll always get a picture of the Galata Tower. Okay, I don't know what to make of that. I have been up several times. I don't like going up personally because I have a fear of heights. I don't know if you experience this, but you know where, first of all, you step outdoors in this tower at the top, and it's just this little balcony. And I have this thing when I'm in a situation like that, it feels to me like the ground is saying, come, Ken, come, jump over, Ken, jump. God, it's a horrible feeling. I don't want to, of course. I mean, I'm not looking there to go and leap off the tower and kill myself. But it just, there's something that just gives me the creeps about that. But another thing you'll see in that area, and I strongly suggest you do it, because I always, this is something I include in my itineraries, and that is the Pera Palace Hotel. I don't know if you saw the TV series, the Turkish TV series, Midnight at Pera Palace, but if you did or didn't, it's irrelevant. What is relevant is that it's an old, gracious hotel in the area of Pera, in the Taksim Beyglu area, and it is where Agatha Christie wrote Murder on the Orient Express. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis stayed there. Queen Elizabeth II stayed there. So many people visited and stayed at this hotel of influence that it really is just fun to go and see and experience it, and then have tea, afternoon tea, a proper British afternoon tea. It really is lovely. So if I take into consideration now, let's go back a step, day one, I would say go to the Hagia Sophia, go to Topkapi Palace, go to lunch. You really don't want to do more than that in the morning. Then in the afternoon, stroll across Sultanahmet Square, and you'll see the obelisks and so on that are there, and then into the Blue Mosque. Walk around the Blue Mosque, leave that, and make your way to the Basilica Cistern, which is just across the road. But here's something I want you to pay attention to when you're doing that. There's this little thing that has fascinated me. Very close to the Basilica Cistern, there's a rock just standing there. It's called the Million Rock, or Million Stone. And it was the stone, you know those poles that say Hong Kong that way, Rio that way, so many miles, New York that way, and so on. This was the stone that combined the whole empire together, Rome, Athens, and Constantinople. And that was the directional stone that put people in the right direction of where to go to. Yet it's unsignposted. It's nobody, you'll walk past it, not even know unless you did a little research and actually saw it. So I would most certainly stop, have a look at that. Go into the Basilica Cistern, and then you've done enough for that day, people. You will be tired because there are lines, there are all kinds of things that you have to go through to get into these attractions. So I would stop. Go to bed. Go to dinner. Go to dinner. Detox. Go to bed. Next day, I would strongly suggest you go across to the Taksim side and walk Istiklal Avenue, go to the Galata Tower, go on the tunnel, which is a funicular ride that takes you from the end of Istiklal Avenue down to Karakay, which is at the start of the Galata Bridge. This is the second underground system in the world after London. Believe it or not, it's a funicular, those things that go down in a little tunnel, but it still operates, and it's second after London. So think about the age, and it's still going fine. That's a fun ride. Go to Pera Palace. One of the things I love doing is getting to Galata Bridge at when the sun starts going down, because that's when all the fishing boats come in. That's when all the tourist boats come in, and that's when the fishermen on the bridge, which is so iconic of Istanbul, start throwing fish to the seagulls, and it becomes this whole sunset. Just picture this magnificent sunset behind which you'll see the behind the Suleymaniye Mosque, which gives a stunning outline of the old city of Istanbul. And all of these birds and the sounds and the smells and it's just brilliant. It's so brilliant. So that's what I would do the next day. But now this is where people typically say, all right, well, I've done it all, I've seen it all. No, oh God, you haven't. Did you know that Istanbul is the only city in the world that is on two continents? It's on the European continent and on the Asian continent. Yeah? Picture the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean goes into the Aegean Sea. The Aegean Sea goes into a little strait, which name I just absolutely cannot pronounce. That goes into the Sea of Marmara, which then goes into the Bosphorus and the Golden Horn. The Golden Horn kind of goes nowhere. It's there, but it just ends at some point. But the Bosphorus goes to the Black Sea. So the city is built on all of this water. The city is surrounded by all of this water. When you are in the old city or in Taksim, you are in Europe. But when you're looking at the skyline across the Bosphorus, that is the Asian continent. There you will find the municipality of Üsküdar and Kadıköy, which is so not touristy in a way. It's where you really see Istanbulites at their best. Walking around, enjoying life, having tea, strolling along the promenade, magnificent views of the Istanbul skyline, the European side, and of the old city. It's worth a whole day. It really is worth a whole day just walking up and down Üsküdar, going into little markets, shops, stores, and so on. Or you can take a bus and go to a place which I really battle saying. It's called Kuzguznuk, I think. Kuzguznuk. It's like one street, colorful homes, beautiful little restaurants. I have a special place that I like to go and eat at there. And again, you're right on the Bosphorus. You're right opposite the municipality of Ortaköy. And then you're at the first bridge that connects Europe to Asia. I did something crazy there at my age, I will tell you. I went ziplining. Yeah, believe it or not, with this fat gut of mine, I think I made it by 1 pound. They said, no, any 1 more pound and you cannot do this because you'll break the whole damn thing. But I did, and that was fun. I don't suggest you do it because I had nothing to do one afternoon. And I thought, oh, let me go and do this because that was fun. Do that. That can be a day, and then Kadike as well. And then you can take a ferry back to the European side. See, everybody says, how do we get around? Well, there's a thing called an Istanbul card. It's a little, it looks like a credit card. And it'll take you on any underground, any of the metro systems, any of the ferry systems, any of the funicular systems, any of the tram systems, and for the heaven's sake, get a load of this. When you are on Sultan Ahmet Square, there is a public toilet, the public restrooms. You can even use your card to go into the public restroom. Yeah? And when it runs out of money, you just fill it up again and tap it whenever you go. And you can use it for 5 times, 5 people at a time, in other words. So if it's you and me and 3 other people traveling, we just need one. We go tap, 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 and in we go to wherever we need to be. And I strongly suggest that you use an Istanbul card. Here it is. Look. I'm trying to see what my hand is. There we go. There's the Istanbul card. See it? Yeah, now you just tap it like that and off you go. That is gold in Istanbul. It really, really is gold. That's how I would suggest you get around. People complain endlessly about taxi ripoffs. Grow up. Grow the hell up. Where do you go to in a country or a city anywhere in the world that the taxis don't try and screw you? Please, in New York City. Use common sense. All you need to check is the meter on before you get into the car, which is like a little yellow cam, before you get in, or negotiate the fare before you get in. And if you don't want to spend that amount of money, don't get in. Similarly, you can also use Uber. But when you see Uber, it's going to be one of those yellow taxis. So they're either a taxi or an Uber, and they double up. If you want to Uber, do that. I still stick to this. This is still my little piece of gold that truly will take me anywhere I need to be in Istanbul, even up to Ortaköy, which is no, I kid you not. I'm sorry. It'll take you close to Ortaköy, and you can walk from Beşiktaş to Ortaköy, or you can take an Uber at that point. That's the one place that is a little bit of a downswing, but that's what I would suggest you do. Is get this. It's gold in your pocket. Now, people are always, as I said, talking about taxis. Of course, you know, everybody's going to try and make a fast buck. Really. It happens everywhere, no matter where you go in the world. So just negotiate it, have your head on your shoulders. No, I'm not going to pay you 50 euros to go from point A to point B. Thank you. Have a nice day and figure out something else. I'm talking about independent travel here, by the way. If ever you did a trip with me, and I escort groups, but only of 10 people at a time, you don't have to think. I will show you all of this stuff by foot, by Istanbul cart. We will do all kinds of things. You won't need to worry about a thing. And also, if you're on a coach tour, but like a 45-seater with 43 other people you don't even really want to know or give a damn about, it just, I don't know. It's my personal choice. Istanbul card. Is it safe in Istanbul? Of course it's safe. Yeah, why wouldn't it be safe? You know, there are areas that you should probably not want to go to, and you'll be able to identify them by looking at them. But if you stick to the tourist routes and you stick to the places where there are a lot of people, why would it not be safe? I'll tell you what doesn't happen in Istanbul, because this gets my hair right up on the back of my head. They don't have mass school shootings. That doesn't happen there. There's a huge, huge police presence in Istanbul, in the tourist areas. And it's the tourist police. They're not there because they're expecting somebody to blow up the city. They're there just in case of any minor confrontation. Okay? Istanbulites do love a celebration. When their when their football team wins, you better believe Istiklal Avenue is chaos. It's crazy. And so the police monitor the people traffic there. And if anybody gets a little out of hand, they just get a slap across the head and be sent home. So when you see all of these police in the street, it gives an added level of comfort and so on. Someone else pointed out, I heard some other influencer, God, that term gets on my nerves, influencer who said, oh my God, when I went into the hotel, I had to go through a security screen. Okay, and that's a problem. Why? Yeah, I don't see that as a problem. It's for your security. In fact, you know what? Instead of bitching about that, have them installed here at schools. Maybe that'll be a way to avoid the mass school shootings that take place here as almost a national sport in the United States. So it is safe. And they also talk about, I see all this chit chat back and forth online in forums. Watch out for pickpockets. Okay. Yeah, watch out for pickpockets. But do the same damn thing here in New York City too. Go to Times Square, put your wallet in your back pocket. It's going to go. Yeah. The Port Authority bus terminal in New York City is known in New York City as the most dangerous place in the entire Manhattan. It's where people are robbed and robbed and robbed. Knock on wood, it's never happened to me. But apparently this is the most dangerous place. So if you come and tell me that it's going to be difficult in Istanbul because somebody's going to take your little wallet away from you, get over it, grow up, yeah? Also, don't go to London, because what's the latest thing in London now? This, yeah? Drive-bys grabbing your phone and flying off with it. This is the latest trend in London. So ask yourself the question, is London safe? I think this whole question comes about safety and not safe, etc., because you don't speak Turkish. And you think that the Turks won't speak English. But they do. Most of them do. And even if it's broken, and even if it's vague, and even if it's very simple, but you can communicate. I don't know that I've met yet a more pleasant nationality as the Turks. They are kind and caring and helpful. One of the experiences you have to do now, because I'm now way past the 2-5-7 day thing. You need to have experiences in when you're in Istanbul. And one of them is to go and have a haircut. Gentlemen. That is, it's quite the most extraordinary thing you can imagine. So I go to the barber. He doesn't speak a word of English. I don't speak a word of Turkish. But with hand gestures and so on, we decide what we're going to do to cut my hair. And I sit back in the chair and I'm all wrapped up and he starts cutting. The care this man took to cut my hair was unbelievable. Then, I don't know what the hell it was, but he took his hands and he slapped the stuff on my face and he started massaging my face. While that mask thing was drying, he took 2 pieces of like rolled brown paper and shoved them in my ears and set them alight. And it's all recorded and I'll pop it up for you to see at some point. But I thought, what the hell is going on? What is he doing? And it was actually, I felt like Shrek, you know, just sitting there with this green face and there's things out of my ears. It's to pull the wax out of your ear. Who knew? I had absolutely no idea. But he very proudly showed me, look at all this rubbish that came out of your head. Go have a haircut. That's a brilliant experience in Istanbul, or in other parts of Turkey for that matter. People, there's so much to tell you. You'll get by with English. I mean, obviously, think about it. Just think about it on a logical level. People that are in the hospitality industry, like myself, we need to be able to speak English. Imagine walking into a hotel and saying, oh, hi, we're the Smith family from Alabama, and they cannot speak a word of English. That's not possible. That just doesn't happen. Or they wouldn't be on the reception desk. Can you imagine what you would have to say about the hotel when you come back? You and your friends at TripAdvisor. So you will get away with most anything on your own trip in Istanbul. Because I'm urging you to stay longer. Don't go for 2 days. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your energy even 5 days. You want to go into the Grand Bazaar. You want to go into these exquisite mosques. When you would deal with me, and I'll tell you this now, but I will remind you all of these things if ever you came to Turkey Tourism USA to make a reservation or for assistance with your travel arrangements. I would remind you, when you get to a mosque, these are actual operating mosques. These are religious places. They're not sightseeing excursion places. They're places that you walk into and your jaw will hit the floor when you see the magnitude and the splendor of these buildings that is so overwhelming. But you really need to pay attention to etiquette when you go into someone else's space of worship. So number one, shoes come off. And there are little cubby holes that you can put your shoes in. Nobody's going to take your shoes. Just put them in, get over yourself, go in. Gentlemen, don't wear short pants. If you do, I note they have become a little lax at the moment now. If you do wear short pants, which I did when I was in Istanbul, because it was summer and really, really hot, as long as your knees are covered, you're good to go. But if they feel uncomfortable that your knees are not covered, they have a little skirt you can wrap around yourself. So do it. You have to be respectful. And if you're not, don't go in. And if I know you have, told you, I don't shut my mouth. I saw someone else complaining on TikTok. We just went to Hagia Sophia and they wouldn't let us in. Really, big boy? Well, there's a shock if ever I heard. See, he had short pants and sandals. Okay, sandals are fine, but you're going to take them off anyway. But his wife had on a skirt above the knee, or a dress that was above the knee, but she also had straps. Her dress was one of these strap things showing arms and bosom and God only knows what else. Why would you think that a conservative religion that is so based on faith and respect, why the hell do you think they would let you go in there with no straps and so on? And besides, they also have wraps for tourists who don't know this etiquette, who don't even consider that this could be a thing, just out of not having their expectations set appropriately. You can have wraps to put around you. Woman, your head should be covered at all times within a mosque. That's just the way it is. Do it, or you won't be let in. And he was having a hassle with the guard, and he filmed the whole thing. Well, why can't we go in? No, because look at your wife. She looks like a hooker on Times Square. She does not look like a woman who can go into a mosque. So go away. And I agree completely with this person. Grow up. One thing that is difficult for me, I find in Istanbul, and this is a warning, but it's not a you better kind of warning. It's just be aware that in Turkey, people, unlike here in the United States and probably Canada too, you cannot, or here where you cannot smoke anywhere, in Istanbul and in Turkey in general, you can smoke wherever the hell you like. So if I'm sitting in a restaurant and you're a smoker and you come sit next to me, you can light up a cigarette. And I cannot say anything about it. And neither should you. Now, I only find that uncomfortable because I suffer from COPD and I have a very weak respiratory system. So take the humidity from the summer season, from being on the water, plus the smoke, it was very, very uncomfortable for me. However, I had a little oxygen pump thing that I could puff on every now and again. And I took a medication called Montelukast. I took one of those pills, boom, fine, not a hassle at all. And trust me, I used to smoke. I smoked, I think, from when I was 13 till about 12 years ago. There is nothing worse than a reformed smoker. We complain all the time when people smoke around us. But in Istanbul, it's what happens, and you have to deal with it, and you are in no place, no shape, or no form to actually chastise anybody for smoking. Remember, it's their country, not yours. So have respect for that. The food. Wow. I don't even know where the hell to start with that. A Turkish breakfast it's incredible. I'm going to just put up pictures on the website for you to have a look, because really, a Turkish breakfast is amazing. One of my favorite spots is a place called Mornings in Pera. It's a little outdoor cafe just off of Istiklal Avenue. I love to go there. They have fabulous breakfast as well. More of a sort of a English style breakfast versus a Istanbul or Turkish style breakfast. But nonetheless, the food is good. The street food is excellent. The corn, the smell of corn all over the show. Nuts, walnuts, roasted walnuts that are going all the time. And then, of course, those big wraps with chicken or meat in them. Oh my God, they are so delicious. You can just go through them one after the next, after the next, after the next. The flavors, the textures, the tastes, everything is so... I can't find anything wrong with Istanbul. I can't. And trust me, I am critical. And trust me, I have been, as I told you at the beginning of this evening, I have been in this job for 48 years, and I'm trained to spot errors and trained to spot things that are inappropriate or wrong or not appealing. Because I'm not going to send you somewhere only to find that you're going to rip my head off when you come back because I didn't set your expectation appropriately. So I do research. It may look like I'm on vacation just having a fun time, but I do research. And I can't find a darn thing wrong with Istanbul. Talking about that, I'm jumping all over the show because I'm having fun, and I hope you're enjoying this information. Shopping, yes. Shop, bargain, you must. You have to. You'll walk into the Egyptian Spice Bazaar and you will hear the same old thing past every shop. Hi, how can I help you spend your money today? It's just fun. It is. It's just fun. No, I don't want to buy anything, thank you. Here's another tip. Baklava. Istiklal Avenue, 6 pieces, half a dozen pieces of baklava, squares, 8 lira. Side street, 6 lira. Behind the mosque, 2 lira. So you just need to know where to shop. Get off the main route and move a few streets off the main route. and you'll find really, really good bargains of things. You really will. There's, yeah, it's, you need to be able to get out of your comfort zone and explore. I was asked the question, is Istanbul LGBTQ friendly? Yeah, they are. Nobody judges anybody else. Homosexuality is not illegal in Turkey, but you have no rights of protection. So if you're doing whatever you're doing, wherever you're doing it, why you're doing it, and I wouldn't know why the hell you'd be doing it in public to start off with, and somebody gives you a slap across the head, you cannot go and complain to the police. They will just laugh and go, get out. I saw another young man the other day on TikTok. It sounds like I spend half my life on TikTok, but I do. And I believe it's coming to an end anyway. He was whining and howling about how he was going to a club one evening and 3 people behind him started to taunt him and they were speaking Arabic. So he immediately picked up that they were not Turks. And he spoke back in Arabic, and when he turned around, one of them bashed him right in the face and he got a black eye. Well, honey, what did you want? You had more makeup on than the finalists at RuPaul's Drag Race. Sweetie, what are you thinking? This is a conservative country. They will tolerate LGBTQ people. They will not make a fuss. But if you're going to act like an absolute idiot and you're going to dress up like you're going on the runway at RuPaul's, expect trouble. And then don't bitch about it. Is it safe and comfortable for baby boomers? Yeah, it is. I'll tell you why, is because I am one. Baby boomer. The trend in travel nowadays is slow travel is the new luxury. And in Istanbul, you really have to, if you're doing it on your own, or you're doing it on a small group with me, which again, there's only 10 of us, we take it slow. There's no rush. Yeah? And if you are in my age group, then if somebody in the group is a little slow, or needs a little encouragement to move a little faster, or needs to sit down and just have a breather, we stop. There's no rush. There is absolutely no rush. And if you can get into that mindset when you're in Istanbul, you will have, I guarantee you, one of the most finest times of your life ever. It's just as simple as that. Folks, I'm going to ask you to, if you have any questions, you can start posting them and I'm going to try and answer them. But before I do that, I want to show you the real importance of why do-it-yourself trips are really stupid. You're going to waste a lot of time researching instead of just having one session with the travel person who's going to ask you a whole lot of questions and get a feel for what you like and what you want to see and how you want to see it. And then design something for you that that person, someone like me or your trusted travel agent, will then guide you appropriately and show you everything appropriately. Yeah? If you try and do it on your own, the best example I can give you is this. I told you I was born and raised in South Africa. One country to the north was Rhodesia, which is now Zimbabwe. And the major attraction there is the Victoria Falls. So I'm going to show you some images. Whenever you go online or to a brochure or whatever the case may be, to look at the Victoria Falls, this is 9 out of 10 times what you're going to see. Let me just try and get it up quickly to show you. Okay, that's what you would see if you were going to go to the Victoria Falls in travel brochures. And boy, that does look appealing, does it not? That really, really, really does look amazing. If, on the other hand, you have not been advised appropriately, or your expectations set appropriately, and you happen to land up there in the dry season, you're probably going to see something like that. That is the Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe in the dry season. That little trickle, it looks like a, I don't know what. So do you understand now the importance of going to a travel agent? Do you understand the importance of getting a travel agent to help you with arrangements? I hope so, because people in my field, people in the trade, the travel trade, we have traveled, we have invested our time, we've invested our energy, we've invested our hearts and minds and souls into being able to advise you appropriately. I'm going to stop now because I'm starting to get croaky. Let's see. Anybody have any questions? I'm very happy to answer anyone. So if you have, pop them up. I'm all ready now to take questions. You're most welcome to ask. I see Jeffrey has just popped in. Hi, Jeffrey. Welcome. And Paul, nice to see you. Glad you could join us. Any questions you have about Istanbul? Best time to go? That's something I didn't discuss. It's a year-round destination. It's same seasons as we have here in the Northern Hemisphere. The best time to go, somebody pointed out to me very smartly, and I go with it, is in either the spring or the fall, because by then everybody's back at school, the crowds have slowed down, and you can move at a slower speed and have a lot more space for yourself, which is really great. If I had to choose out of the two, either the spring or the fall, did you know, here's something, here's a question I bet you never thought would ever crop up. When you think of tulips, the flower tulips, what country do you think of? The Netherlands, huh? Holland. Tulips from Amsterdam. Tulips originated in Turkey. So in April, in the early spring, they have these huge tulip festivals where all of the parks, the public parks, are just covered in tulips, making such a stunning visual for you to enjoy. So if I would go, and the weather is a little cooler as well in the spring. It's for like a light jacket kind of weather. From I told you, I arrived on the 1st of May, and by mid-May I was in short sleeves. It was hot. And I went all the way until mid-October. It was still that kind of heat. And then it started cooling off just before I returned in November. So April, May, September, October would be optimal time to go. Because, again, as I said, schools are back in session, everybody's back working, meaning tourists and so on. It's slower, it's an easier pace, and you'll have a lot more enjoyment, more of a relaxing flow. So that's it. If you've got questions, you can ask them and I will answer them. Otherwise, if you don't, and you don't want to ask anything right now, and you've had enough of me croaking away here, go to turkeytourismusa.com and there's a contact us form there. Contact me there. Those contacts all come to me and I will be able to answer and help you with any direction, put you in the right direction, tell you how to do things, steer you in the right direction. That's really what it's about, and set your expectations appropriately. Very happy to do that. So it appears to me that obviously everybody has heard enough of me at this point. And I understand that I've actually heard enough of me by now too. And my throat is a little sore, so I'm going to call it quits. But before I do go, I want to share something else with you. One last thing. You know that when you travel and you fly for 9.5 hours, you dehydrate. Everything just goes belly up. You feel like hell. You stink. You know all of that stuff that I've told you about. I have, and this is a non-commission based, by the way. So I'm not being sponsored to do these presentations, and I'm certainly not taking a commission for anything that I do. If you want help, contact me at contact@Vuitton Travel, but go to Turkey Tourism USA. This product that I'm holding in my hand, let me see that I'm getting it in there. Here. This is a moisturizer. It's by the company Fershkov. It's the perfect size bottle to take with you in flight without having the TSA having a stroke and taking it away and tossing it into the garbage. This is the best. In the morning when you wake up and you're all dry and crackly, put this moisturizer on your face. It'll make you feel fantastic. Similarly, this little bottle looks like a little eye drop thing. This one, under your eyes. It'll just get rid of those dark circles, those black eyes that you feel you can see, and those red, you know what I mean, after you've taken a flight, because I'm assuming I'm talking to people that have traveled before, although assumption, we know about that. But these products are by Fershkov, Ferskov, and you can find them, both of those products that I've just shown you, you can buy them at Amazon.com or at Walmart.com. So go to both of those, Ferskov, and have a look at the products there. They are in perfect sizes for travel. They don't take up a lot of space. And the product itself is just really excellent. It was formulated by a medical doctor, so there are no artificial preservatives. There's none of that garbage in these products at all. I highly recommend you go and take a look. And that's it, folks. I'm done for the day. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you have found some knowledge in what I've shared with you tonight. And if you haven't, you're welcome to contact me. Again, go to turkeytourismusa.com. Go to the Contact Us form, and you can send me a message. I'd be happy to answer you. Thank you for joining me. Have a good rest. Go to Turkey. You can count on the fact that in Istanbul you're going to have a fantastic time. And if you want to stay a little longer, we can add on Cappadocia, we can add on Pamukkale, we can add on Izmir and Ephesus, the ancient city of Ephesus, or we can take you down to Bodrum or Antalya on the coast. So many options, such a beautiful country. Stay in touch. Good night. Thank you for joining me.